Am I the astronaut for refusing to pay for my girlfriend's plane ticket after she decided to stay longer on her trip without me? Throwaway because she knows my Reddit. So here's the deal. My 28 male, girlfriend 27 female of 2 years, and I planned a 2-week vacation to Italy. I paid for the flights, hotels, everything because I make more than she does, and I wanted it to be a stress-free trip for both of us. Everything was great until the last day when she tells me she wants to stay longer to find herself and think about our relationship without me. She didn't discuss this with me beforehand, and it completely blindsided me. I was hurt and told her that if she feels she needs time alone, then she should also be independent financially during this extension of her trip. I said I wouldn't be paying for her new return ticket whenever she decides to come back. Now she's upset, calling me unsupportive and selfish. And some of our friends are saying that I'm being an asshole because I left her stranded in a foreign country without financial help. So Reddit, am I the astronaut for refusing to pay for her new plane ticket home after she chose to extend her trip without any heads up? No, this is an NTA for me. It is an NTA. This is an NTA for me, and there are two possible routes that I see this going here. Either this was premeditated on her part, and she's like, you know what? I'm not sure like really where we're at, but I really want to go on this trip. And then she had this powwow with her girls, and they're like, what if you go on the trip? And then at the tail end of it, you just say, I'm just going to stay a little bit longer and come back later. Then you still get the trip, and you get your alone time. Or if it wasn't premeditated and it happened while they were there, like if there was an argument or something, a big enough deal to substantiate a reaction like this, I feel like OP would have mentioned something. I hope that they would have mentioned something. It doesn't mean they would have, but I hope that they would have. If it's something that just popped up in her head that she wanted to do while she was there, she still has to understand that extending that trip creates a new financial burden. And if she said for any other reason, then I really want to think about our relationship. Like, okay, I might dump you, but I still want you to pay for me to have an extra 2 weeks or extra week on this vacation without you. What self-respecting person is going to be like, yeah, totally. I get it. Here, take my money. What self-respecting person would do that? What kind of entitled person does what she did and gets pissed off about it? And what's with the friends? What's with the friends that are like, dude, you left her stranded in a foreign country with no financial help? No, she chose to stay behind in a foreign country without the financial means to do so and assumed I was going to pick up the tab, even after she said that she wanted to think about our relationship in this alone time. Why would I fund that? This was her choice. This was not your choice, OP. This was her choice. You're not the astronaut. Beard today. What kind of sprinkle BS is this? I'll tell you what. I felt like an accomplished TikToker a few days ago whenever I explained to Candy Thunder and Ava Thunder what drizzle meant. I was like, oh, you haven't heard of this? I heard something before you all heard something. Let me explain it for you. I'm sure I got it wrong, but why does she need to be in Italy to think? I'm sure Scrooge McDuck. I'm sure it's a very different experience, staring at the Italian countryside, thinking than it is back home for her. But the assumption that OP is just going to foot the bill, even after she's like, I got to think about our relationship. Wow. We think very, very highly of ourselves, don't we? Very, very. Oh no, and then I look over and I see Jennifer's comment. I think she likes the Italian sausage. Oh my God. He planted a flag here and said no. Had enough self-respect to say hell no. And I hope he sticks to that. And in the guilt now that's coming from the other people, she's calling him unsupportive and selfish, and some of the friends are saying that he's being an asshole because some of the friends are saying that you're being an asshole because they've been talking to her. And I guarantee you, the version of the story that they got from her is not your worldview, OP. Think about the source. And whenever you have a friend that is receiving two conflicting reports and you get called an asshole because of what someone else said, if you don't say, what exactly did you hear about this? And actually, get a report of the report that they got. I think it's a big missed opportunity to see where the differentiation here is and to set it straight. Too many people allow the narrative to happen to them instead of grabbing a hold of that narrative and taking control of it, which is a big missed opportunity. Maybe he just didn't give a shit, and that's okay. Am I the astronaut for saying my ex-mother-in-law is not family? I, 34 female, am in the process of divorcing my husband, 33 male. We're on good terms and still live together in my house. The house is in my name and was bought before marriage, which means my husband is not entitled to it according to my country's law. He hasn't moved out yet because of his financial issues. I'm okay with it. He just started a new job and hopes to move out in a month or two. My mother-in-law is a nasty person, and we never get along. She never liked me and made sure I did not feel welcome in the family. Last month, she called me on my birthday to tell me she's glad she no longer has to buy me anything for my birthday because I'm no longer a family. She had recently found out we'd be getting a divorce. Hold up. This bizzo called you on your birthday to say, I hate you and I'm so glad I don't have to buy you anything? Wow. That is petty. That gets the petty confetti. Oh my goodness. Wowza. Okay. Yesterday, she called me. My ex was at work and didn't pick up. That's why she called me, not him, to inform me that she'd be coming over for 2 days next week because she'll be having a medical procedure done in our city, the capital. She does not drive, so she can't go home straight after the procedure. She was planning to spend the night and take a bus the next day. I told her absolutely not. She's no longer family. The house is mine, and I don't want random people I don't even like in my house. Neither she nor my ex can afford a hotel. He can't drive her back because of his new work. I won't because she's no longer my problem. My ex is very angry with me and told me I shouldn't be taking out my frustrations on his mother. I'm not. I just don't want her here because I don't like her and I don't feel like I have to put up with this anymore. We're no longer a couple. Am I the astronaut? Fudge. No, you're not. No. If this Granny Bizzo thinks that she can call you on your birthday and be like, I hate you. I'm glad I don't have to buy you anything anymore, you nasty biznatch. And then a week later is like, I'm going to come stay there for 2 days. Not even ask you about it, tell you. She told you this was happening. So either she had already arranged this with your ex, who still lives with you, or she just decided to impose her will upon him as well. And that's how that normally flows. Might be one of the reasons you guys aren't together anymore. Just a hunch there. But she has this perception of her worldview is I could treat everybody like shit and they still have to do me favors. That's not how this works. It's not. And your ex, had this been pre-communicated to you ahead of time, you would have had a discussion and avoided this surprise mess, right? He could have told her ahead of time, yeah, that's not going to work. She's not cool with that. It's not my house. I'm being allowed to stay here right now, so please don't f this up for me. No. He was angry with OP for saying no, for having self-respect. Again, starting to piece together why you guys aren't together anymore. I'm giving him the brozo. Would you look at that? A bizzo birthed a brozo. Shocking. Super shocking. I'm going to give Granny this too. I'm calling her Granny. It's the ex's mom. I'm calling her Granny. She's Granny. Alexia, sign the doors. Family only, except for ex's name, until X date, something like that. Don't burn bridges. Yeah, especially if you need to drive over that bridge at some point. Especially. Taylor, I don't understand how she could still hate her so much. They're getting separated. Isn't that what she wants? Right, she won. They're not together anymore. But she's like, yeah, but I still need the financial benefits of that, the aftermath of that relationship. I know it's rubble, but I still need the benefits of that. It's like, oh, you don't get that anymore. Oh, but he still lives there. Yeah. By the grace of OP allowing him to live there. Him getting pissed about this is, it's like, hey, buddy, do you enjoy staying here for free while you get your shit together and try to save up to get a place? Because if not, there it is. The door. You're familiar with this. I'd like for you to use it one last time. This is from the AITA subreddit, and this one is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Flipping Out on My Fiance After Her Daughter Almost Got Me Arrested? I, 38 male, got engaged to my fiance, 37 female, about 3 months ago. We've been dating for almost 3 years. She has 2 kids from a previous relationship, 15 female and 12 male. Their dad is involved in their lives, and for the most part, the adults all co-parent and communicate well. I get along really well with the 12-year-old, but I have always struggled to build a relationship with my soon-to-be stepdaughter, Riley. She has made it very clear to me, my fiance, and her bio dad that she doesn't view me as a parent and doesn't want me to try and be a father to her because she already has one. A few days ago, my fiance sent me a text asking me if I could pick up Riley from school because she had something come up at work that was going to keep her late. My fiance usually picks up Riley once a week and brings her to a chiropractic appointment to help with a sports injury that Riley got. She told me she would call the school to let them know that I would be picking up Riley because I wasn't on the pre-approved pickup list yet. However, when I got to Riley's school, it quickly became apparent that my fiance forgot to call the school. The school has locked doors that require you to have a code or be buzzed in by the office. I buzzed into the office to let them know I was there to pick up Riley and that my fiance should have called and let them know. They didn't know anything about it. I was left waiting outside for 5 to 10 minutes while they figured it out. I tried calling and texting my fiance, but she didn't answer. Then the school resource officer, an actual uniformed cop, came out and told me that I would have to leave and that if I refused, then he would arrest me for trespassing. I tried talking with him, but he just kept saying I was not authorized to be on school property and that I had to leave. I had no choice but to leave without Riley. Finally, an hour later, my fiance called me back. I explained what happened and she apologized for forgetting to call the school because she got distracted with work. She told me she would figure it out and meet me at home. When she and Riley got home, Riley went straight to her room. My fiance sat me down and told me that Riley had lied to the office and told them that she didn't know who I was and had never seen me before. Oh my glob. She thought it would be funny. She told me she explained to Riley how dangerous that was and was going to work with Riley's dad to figure out a punishment. Needless to say, I did not take that news well. I admit I did raise my voice to her. I didn't yell, but I did get louder than I usually talk. She told me to calm down, and I told her that I won't calm down because her daughter almost got me arrested because she thought it would be funny. I told her that she's just as responsible for this as Riley because she didn't call the school and put me in a position where I looked like a creep or predator. My fiance thinks I'm overreacting and that I need to let her and Riley's dad handle this. So the question is, am I the astronaut for flipping out on my fiance after her daughter almost got me arrested? Riley is 15. She's 15. No, you are not an astronaut for flipping out on her because her daughter almost got you arrested. And you're not an astronaut for flipping out on her because she's not taking it seriously. Dismissing your feelings, dismissing the amount of pain that you had to go through this, minimizing everything, saying that you're overreacting. What? I'm sorry. In the reverse position, I feel like she would be really, really, really fucking pissed. Anybody would. Anybody would. Unfortunately, this is probably different for a female than a male. Because the dude has to be like, oh shit, well now I look like a predator. I'm sure, I'm sure it happens with ladies too, but it's more likely a dude. And then he's just like, well, shit, what the, great. Now I'm on some kind of list somewhere because she thought it would be funny. And you know, she thought it would be funny because she doesn't respect him. She thought it would be funny to put him through some pain. That was the funny part. Haha, super, super funny. This is a BFD and it needs to be treated as a BFD. The fact that your fiance is not taking this seriously is a huge red flag that needs to be a deeper discussion because you got engaged 3 months ago. This is an opportunity to be like, look, whenever stuff happens that is a big deal to me, I need you to take it seriously. At least seriously enough to recognize my feelings and help work through this in some capacity, more so than saying you're overreacting, because that's completely dismissive. And if you just want me to be whatever it is you want me to be here, the bare minimum of that arrangement is respect. The bare minimum. Whoa, Roseanne, your goddaughter did this to your son. Not a happy time when she got home. 3 years she'll be a legal adult. She knew what she was doing. Lilith, 100%. She's 15 years old. She knew exactly what she was doing. Oh, you know what? You guys make a good point in chat here. Now there's a heightened risk moving forward. Any kind of interaction that he has with the school or with Riley or just generally, you have to be thinking about your future and your safety here now, OP, which just sucks to say, but you know she's willing and capable of lying to law enforcement and school authorities to make you look bad. Run that through some potential scenarios, and none of it's good. Now, continuing in this relationship significantly puts your future at risk unless you have some kind of, it can't be a guarantee, but as close as you can get to it. And you know what doesn't help get you any closer to that? Somebody saying you're overreacting. I'm giving OP's fiance the Bizzle Award here for dismissing him like that. Nope, not okay. Not okay. And telling you to stay out of it and let her and Riley's dad handle it? No. It didn't involve you two. It directly involved me. It put me in harm's way. It put me on a list somewhere. I am already involved, like it or not. I'm about to get really uninvolved. If you have any interest in stopping that, you're going to quit with this overreacting bullshit right meow. I mean, how much do you love her? That's the question now. How much do you love her? How much do you love yourself? You have to ask those two questions here and really think long and hard about where to go from here. My concern for you, OP, is that the question is, am I the astronaut for flipping out on my fiance, and not, am I the astronaut for thinking about leaving my fiance over this? There are serious implications here. Could be. The potential paths are none of them are good, given your fiance's frame of mind about this and the way that she's treating this right now. None of them are good. Well, what I do if I was in this situation? Pretty much just what I said. I'd be like, look, I need you to take this as seriously as the situation really is. And if you're not going to respect, bare minimum, if you're not going to respect how I'm upset at this and that it is a big deal, we've got a much bigger problem than this one isolated incident. We've got a much bigger problem. Do not tell me to butt out on a situation that directly threatened my future. Nope. We'd be having that conversation real quick. And if we couldn't see eye to eye on that, I think you're on a path to destruction, or just call it quits right then. Take time, do whatever you want, but there's a problem. Shit's going to fall apart. He needs to have enough self-respect to protect himself. She needs to have enough respect for him to take his feelings about this seriously and to not, you can think somebody's overreacting all you want, but to actually verbalize that takes a level of lack of respect. Am I the astronaut for not inviting my best friend on a girls' trip? Plus, an update. I, 22 female, and my girls go on a trip every December since we all have breaks from uni. We're a group of 6 girls and have been doing this since we were 18. We weren't able to go last year because of COVID. My best friend, 21 female, has a 14-month-old son. Since her son was born, we haven't had a day alone with her, which I guess is understandable because she's a new mom. We tried to include her in all the plans we had since having her child, but noticed that she would always ask if we could change what the plan was to accommodate her baby coming too. This meant the plan was almost always a coffee shop. I genuinely didn't mind changing all the plans to be more child-friendly and just assumed that she couldn't get her man or parents to watch her baby for a while. I called her a few weeks ago to ask if she wanted to come to a club with us, and she asked if we could go to a coffee shop instead so she could bring her bebe. I asked if there was no one who could watch her bebe. She lives with her husband who works from home and her in-laws, to which she replied that she'll feel insane mom guilt if she goes to a club and leaves her baby at home. I said I understood, but that I really needed a night out. We could do coffee the next day. She texted me the following day asking why I had such a big problem having her child around. I was baffled because I'm the one constantly changing plans to accommodate her son, but I asked her to understand me for one night. I really needed a night out and didn't want to be in a coffee shop. She sounded irritated by my reasoning, but left it at that. Now, the girls' trip is coming in a week. I didn't really tell her about the trip because I knew she couldn't come alone, but she heard it from another friend. She jokingly asked why I didn't invite her, to which I laughed it off because I felt so awkward. I told her she was welcome to come as always and I would love to have her there. I thought the call was an indication that she would come alone. She called the next day to ask if the resort we were staying at was child-friendly. I said it wasn't, as we were looking for more of a club atmosphere, and that's what it was. She then said she couldn't make it then if it wasn't going to properly accommodate her son in the activities we do. I said I understand and that I'm sorry. I got a call from her older sister last night calling me all sorts of names because I didn't want my best friend's son to come to the girls' trip and that I'm being childish. I'm genuinely still in such shock and don't know how to even type what I'm feeling right now. We haven't even had proper fun together in ages because it's either we're too busy caring for my best friend's baby or a few of us were missing because of COVID, etc. This is the first time we've all been together since we graduated undergrad and started our masters. We've been having hectic years and just wanted one carefree holiday. So, am I the asshole for wanting our annual girls trip to actually be a girls trip? Edit, I tried to hint once that I wanted my birthday a few months ago to be just us, but she laughed it off and made a joke about her and her son are attached by the hip and she couldn't leave him. She asked if we could minimize how much alcohol there was going to be so she could bring her son. Why is he going to be drinking? There's an update. Let's get into the update momentarily. We got to talk about this for a second. Look, parental guilt is a thing, right? Parental guilt is like one of the most powerful forces in the universe. And Candy Thunder and I had a discussion about this like 2 nights ago. No matter how experienced of a parent you are, I say that because we have 5 kids, parental guilt is still something you're going to battle on the daily. Recognizing it is the first step to gaining control of that, right? And being able to reflect on it. This is her first kid. She doesn't understand yet what is happening, but she is taking on 100% of the responsibility for caring for this child and is trying to somehow keep like 1 foot in the door. She's kind of like straddle the line of 2 lives. She's trying to keep a grasp on her old life here with her friends where they clubbed and they partied and that's what they did. And that's who this friend group is. And she's also trying to be 100% new mom present here. So she doesn't have to leave her child and have crazy mom guilt, right? Well, you can't do both things. And where you end up at a fork in the road is if you go 100%. Like, I'm a mom now. This is my life. This is what I do every day. A little while down the road, you're going to feel like you've completely lost yourself. You've completely lost your identity. You're just a caregiver. You start feeling like a shell of yourself, right? It happens. It happens to new parents. You lose yourself in just becoming a caregiver for a tiny human. The job is so worthy and so rewarding, but you still have to fill up your own cup. And mom, making a couple things for you, mom. The expectation for your friend group who is rooted in clubbing and partying and being a little crazy, the expectation for your entire group of friends to evolve because your life is evolving is unreasonable. That is an unreasonable expectation that you put upon your friend group. And without even recognizing that she somehow twisted this story to her sister to be like, they don't even want me around. They said they never want to see my baby again. They're just such bitches. The story that sister got is not the truth. It's not an accurate representation. If it was, there's no way that she would have come at you with that. She is trying to like keep a tether on her previous life here and expecting you guys to, I'm not going to say grow up, but evolve into a parenthood kind of lifestyle with her. You guys aren't ready for that yet. You have no obligation to do that yet. You do it a lot already, and doing it every once in a while is a great sign of respect and trying to keep her included. You do that for her. Her expecting every single thing to change so that a baby can come along is a her problem. And second point to mom here, if you keep going down this path and don't take time to fill up your own cup by really being with your friends, you're not with your friends when you're with your friends right now. You're still momming. You're just doing it in their presence. That is not the same as filling up your cup by actually having fun with your friends like you used to. You're going to have to do that or you are going to go insane. All of this to say, OP, this is a her problem. And I don't know how you in your position help her see that without pissing her off worse, because what you said so far was pretty harmless and it turned into she hates me. So let's get into the update and see what happens here. Brady Bunch intro, Candy Thunder. I'm down. Okay. Yeah. Candy Thunder. So mom here is like 22, 23 as well. And that Yes, young parent. I understand. You can't be both things. That she right now, while she's with her kid, is probably miserable because she's not filling up her own cup. And when she's with her friends, she's miserable because she's not filling up her own cup, but she feels like she's going through the motions. It's frustrating. You will figure this out, but you have to take some time to actually have you time. You have to take some time to fill up your cup. You will be a better parent if you take time to fill up your cup and restore your sanity than if you go 100% 24/7 mom duty. There has to be something that's still truly you. And trying to be a part of that friend group that was still truly you, but having your baby attached to your hip for it it's not the same. It's not the same thing. You're going to feel guilt for the first few hundred times that you go do something without your baby, but you are going to be happier. Natasha, why doesn't she have anyone who will watch the kiddo? That's not the case. It's not a matter of not having anybody who can watch the kiddo. It is she would have insane mom guilt. She doesn't want to allow that guilt into her body, so she chooses to take her baby with her everywhere. Okay, update time here. So, for anyone who read my previous post and shared their advice, thank you, and here's the update. So we went on our girls' trip and had the best week we've had since before COVID started. We all kind of chose not to speak about the issue with our friend and just have a good time and sort out the issue when we got back home. The day after we got back, I texted my best friend and asked if we could come over and see her and her son, and also to deliver the gifts we had gotten them during the trip. She read the message and hadn't replied for 3 days. I called her husband just to ask if she was okay, and he said she was, and he doesn't know why she wasn't responding to me. Anyway, I decided not to double text as I didn't want to nag her. She texted back after 3 days with an essay-like response explaining how disappointed she felt that I thought she would give up days of motherhood just to drink and be a skank. Good to know that's what she thinks of us then, LOL. She ended the message by saying she and her husband are trying for another baby, and she doesn't have the mental capacity to deal with our crap. After which, she left all the group chats and blocked us on every single social media platform. So, that's it, I guess. Best friends since year 4, and this is how our friendship has ended. Still baffled, to be honest, but maybe it was for the best. Hoping I'll see the good in this one day. Thank you so much to everyone that's responded, and Happy New Year, lovelies. Top comment here. Most people grow apart from their childhood friendships, and sometimes it happens very abruptly. She made the decision to have a child at a very young age. That is a life-changing thing, and it makes sense that she is giving up a lot of things that people experience in their 20s. The problem is that she expected her entire group of friends to give up those same things to accommodate her and reacted coldly when you all continue to live your lives the same way most people do in their early 20s. Sounds like you guys made a lot of concessions for her over the past 2 years, and if she can't appreciate that, you are probably better off without her. Hear, hear. Everything that I said before reading the update times 10. This is her problem. She's going to realize it someday, though. She's going to look back on this and be like, wow, I really fucked up because it was a me problem. I don't know why I expected them to do all of that for me. I don't know why I expected them to do the same thing that I'm doing. I don't know why I expected my friends to change their lives because my life was changing. She's going to figure it out someday. It may be 10 years from now, but she's going to look back on this and she's going to regret it. When your life changes, the lives of everyone around you do not change as well. Talk about some friggin' main character syndrome. She thinks this is the Truman Show, and that because her life has changed, the entire show changes to match her new life. Which really says a lot. It really says a lot about how she viewed you all as friends from the beginning. You were accessories to her. You were there to accommodate her and her journey. She will figure it out someday. She'll regret it. You did nothing wrong. You accommodated as best you could without giving up what that group truly was. I don't think this was a Kobayashi Maru. When it comes to the relationship with his friend, this was a Kobayashi Maru because this was going to happen at some point no matter what. It's silly. Am I the astronaut for continuing to make lunch for my coworker, even if his wife asked me not to? I, 23 female, have been working in the same place, warehousing, since I turned 18. It pays me well enough that I'm actively saving to buy a house. For the last 4 years, I've been making extra money by making and selling lunches to some of my coworkers. My food tastes better than anything we can get close by, and it's also cheaper. Now I have to be very clear. These are coworkers. They are not friends. There is no work wife, work husband BS going on. I just sell them lunches, and we usually eat at the same time and place, the break room. One of my coworkers, 30s male, has gotten married earlier this year, but he still continued to buy lunches from me, which is normal since most of my customers are also married. But earlier this week, I got a call from his wife, and she asked me, more like ordered me, to stop making her husband lunches. It was a weird conversation, but I just said that if she doesn't want him buying lunches for me, she should tell him to stop asking me himself. Then I said a terse goodbye. I also sent a text to my coworker telling him what happened and asking him to tell his wife to never contact me again. He was apologetic and assured me that he will be talking with her. But he didn't stop buying lunches from me, and I continued selling them to him. This led to his wife sending me a scathing text calling me a home-wrecking whore. I didn't reply, just forwarded it to her husband and blocked her. He apologized again, told me that he talked with her, and said that he will still buy lunches from me if I was okay with it. I said, sure, money's money. Then I was venting to my roommate, and she said that I was being an asshole. It's not like he is my friend, and I could do without his $10 a day to help him save his marriage. So, am I the astronaut? Edit! Since a lot of people have asked, I presume she got my number from his phone. We have a group chat that I use to post weekly meal plans and receive orders, and that's the only reason my coworkers have my phone number. Edit 2, I have a permit to cook and distribute food from my home. My kitchen is up to code. The only reason I have a roommate so I can afford a house with a big kitchen and space for a separate fridge and freezer. So the question is, am I the astronaut for continuing to make lunch for my coworker even if his wife asked me not to? Oh my God, what kind of hell is your coworker living in right now, man? What kind of hell is he living in where she is calling his coworkers or calling the person, separate the coworker thing for a second. She's calling the person who sells him his lunch. This would be like them calling McDonald's up and being like, y'all don't serve my husband anymore. She's trying to get him like banned from the casino, but just like an independent operation here that only makes and sells lunch to coworkers. She's calling you up to tell you to cut him off. Okay, not okay, but also your coworker. I almost said coworker buddy, but you made it very clear these aren't buddies. And OP is a female, right? Like I understand that OP is a female. So I got a chat message from Candy Thunder and I was like, oh, it should be important. And she says, and I quote, "Don't do that to your face again. Please. I love you, but don't do that again." Okay. Yeah, either her food really must suck or OP's food is just really good. And you know what? OP takes it seriously and plans ahead. And if you're committing ahead of time. You're committing like a week ahead or on specific days. Like, yeah, I want that meal. I want. It's essentially like a school lunch. The meal plan is there. The calendar is there. And the coworkers get to decide what days they're having lunch there and what days they're bringing their lunch. She's overstepping by a mile, but also your coworker here has to grow the up and be like, look, I'm going to buy my own damn lunch the way I've bought my own damn lunch for a while, for a long time. I'm not changing the way that I do that just because you're butthurt over it. Now, if it was them, needing to save money or something, or you know what? I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what the reason is. It's a him problem. That is a him problem. And the fact that they have no communication to the point where she's willing to reach out to the person who provides his lunch, to the person who sells lunch to him, bitching you out, OP, because you're selling him the thing that he said he wants to buy. Like, what? Dear God. And this guy just got married. So like communication is doing really, really well. It's either like a deep-rooted insecurity about any female, period. She called you a home-wrecking whore, so yeah, there's definitely a lot of insecurity going on there, and the fact that you're a female has a lot to do with it. Bro, coworker, if you didn't see these before you got married, I sure as shit hope that you're seeing them now. There's a lot of work to do on the communication front at home, man. Whole lot of work to do. Like a 10-course meal's worth of work to do here on the communication front with you and your new bride, because she's so wildly insecure that she is going to ruin your life. She's willing to contact people who you work with, not friends with, who you work with, and berate them with her insecurities. What? That's a critical malfunction, man. She's here for doing this, but coworker, new hubby, you're on the scale somewhere here too for letting it happen to the point where your coworker is getting calls from your new wife to get bitched out about selling you lunch. And you're like, well, I'd still like to buy lunches from you if that's okay. Yeah, cool. Money's money. Handle shit with your wife. I don't want to get any more phone calls. Every time I get a phone call, your price goes up, bro. Every time. Because there's more work involved with making your food now, because I got to put up with a 10-minute text conversation from your crazy bizzo bride, who is Delulu. Wow. Talk about control. Talk about control. Holy crap. OP, start sending the weekly lunch plan to her. Include her, and then she can help him decide what days he's bringing his lunch and what days he's ordering from you. I'm not saying to try to help the situation. I'm saying to be petty. Include her. Ah. Am I the astronaut for threatening my wife with divorce after she quit her job to be a tradwife? Okay. You like lifestyle-wise, you do you. We're not getting into, the choice to do that lifestyle. We're not getting into the political side of things. Don't give a shit. You do you. Quitting a job to be to adopt a new lifestyle without communicating to your partner, it's probably a big deal. We'll see where this goes. I don't even know where to begin with this. Me, 34 male, and my wife, 33 female, have 2 kids together, 11 male, 9 female. Me and my wife have been together for 12 years and married for 8. Around a year ago, I noticed my wife increasingly sending me these tradwife or traditional housewife TikToks. I have nothing against that type of relationship, but I don't think it makes sense for our current family situation. I do earn quite a bit more than my wife, and enough to sustain our family on my own, but I don't see the need to do so. I work 80% and my wife 50%. And besides Wednesdays where the both of us are working, either one of us is always home for the kids. I could work a 100% and let my wife be a stay-at-home mom, but again, both of my kids are attending school, and in my mind, there's no need for my wife to be at home 24/7. She got increasingly pushy about it over the past 2 months, and again, I just kept on telling her that there wasn't any need for that, and if we did decide to go down that route, what would she do during the hours my kids attended school? I know damn well our house doesn't need to be cleaned for 6 hours a day. Oh yeah, that's right. He doesn't have a toddler. Maybe. She would constantly try to butter me up with, you would have dinner ready every day when you come home from work. And something about unlimited BJs or some BS like that. Oops. Again, in the nicest way possible, I would remind her that our kids weren't toddlers and that our current work-life schedule allows us to function perfectly fine. We got into a pretty heated argument 2 weeks ago about it, and my wife completely stopped having sex with me to show me what I would be missing out on. She's basically treating me like a roommate ever since. I just thought she would get over it and this was just a phase, but God, was I wrong. I came home from work yesterday and saw a bunch of presents on the dining table. At first I thought they were all for me since my birthday was in a week, but I then saw the labels on them addressed to my wife. I read one of the letters attached to one of the presents. The last sentence on it was literally, "It was such a pleasure working alongside you and I wish you all the best moving forward." I thought this was some sick prank. A few minutes later, my wife just casually strolled into the living room acting like nothing was wrong. I guess she saw my mad expression and had the audacity to tell me, "You'll get over it." I just lost it. She said, "You'll get over it?" Oh, no! 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 I'm going to quit my job and be a stay-at-home aspiring musician. Navy can help. She likes to play the piano with me. I just left without saying another word and went to my parents' house. I feel absolutely disrespected. Why the f*** would my wife think it was okay to just quit her job without telling me and just expect me to be fine with it? My wife has been bombarding me with texts and calls demanding to know where I am and that the kids miss me. I just told her to go find a lawyer and that I was done with her and then proceeded to block her. My son just sent me a voicemail crying and asking why I was divorcing mom and if I was leaving the family, and I guess that kind of broke my heart. She involved the kids? Involving the kids in this and immediately being like, your dad's divorcing me. Don't involve the kids, you freaking bizzo. You don't involve the kids. She's playing guilt chess now. See, parental guilt, it's the most powerful force in the universe. And she's like, yep, engage. I haven't responded and honestly don't know what to say to him. My mother-in-law has also been demanding that I return home and apologize to my wife. My parents also seem to be siding with my wife because of their culture. My mom also used to be a stay-at-home mom. I feel like I'm wrong for immediately jumping to divorce without hearing her out, and besides this whole job drama, I love my wife too much for this to be the end of our otherwise perfect marriage, but on the other hand, I feel like I've lost complete trust in her. Should I just swallow my pride and let my wife stay at home from now on, or should I follow through on divorcing her? How should I navigate this situation? Am I the astronaut here? We need some additional information here. Additional information from OP. Sharing is indeed caring, sister, but as I stated, it goes both ways. I don't condone beating your wife or anything like that. All I showed you is mentioning these old rights and duties is illogical and stupid. A lot of people are ready to throw around these old ideologies around when it benefits them without understanding the other side to them. Thirdly, it is important to me that I get to spend time with my kids, and just as context, I effing hate my job and I'm purely doing this for the sake of my family and kids. Me working an extra 20% would take away the day and a half that I would have with my kids. My wife knows this is really important to me and still chose to go down this path. My working 100% means the following. I'm basically absent from Monday to Friday, and due to my job, even some Saturdays, will still earn less in household income. She gave a 3-month notice to her job. This limits the time I get to spend with my family, which is limited as is. I suffer from a chronic heart disease, which already makes me susceptible to stress-induced cardiac arrest, and this extra workload could have massive consequences for my health. Whoa, okay, so am I the astronaut for threatening my wife with divorce after she quit her job to be a tradwife? It is the... If you're making a decision to change, to pivot your life, and that change is going to affect your partner, your family, you have an obligation to talk that through first. And you know, when I read the title, I was like, oh, she just up and did it, and there was no prior conversation about this at all. No, there have been plenty of prior conversation about this, and she knew full well how uncomfortable with the notion he was, and said, YOLO, and did it. You know what's so confusing about this to me? It's so hypocritical. I just spit all the way at the camera. I saw it. I hope you didn't. I just told you, so that doesn't help. This is the most hypocritical thing I've ever heard of. And then her mom calling and saying that you need to get the F back home and apologize to her. Like that goes completely against the grain of this as well. Really, she just didn't like her job and wanted to stay home. If that's the case, that's the case. But say it. Don't lie and say that you're going to create this friggin' oasis for your husband to come home to, and you're going to do it for him. He didn't want it. And you did it anyway. It was never for him. It was for you, lady. It was for you. You're not fooling anybody. Nobody's fooled here. It was an incredibly selfish thing to do because you had conversations about it. You knew how he felt about it, and you said, screw it, and you put additional pressure on him. And the little bit of family time that he's got right now that he cherishes, you ripped away from him without giving him a choice about it. You affected your entire family. Now your kids get to see their dad less. Oh yeah, and by the way, when he threatened divorce, which is a big life change that at least he gave you a heads up about instead of just sending you papers, right? When he threatened that, what's the first thing you did? Turn to your kids and be like, your dad's divorcing me. Message him, call him, and guilt him. Mom? You're an ASCON 1, Delulu Bizzo. I'm going to use all the buttons. All the buttons. All the buttons. You cannot make a massive life pivot that affects your entire family and just do it even though the discussions about that topic have not gone well. And you know your partner is uncomfortable with it. You know your partner is opposed to it, and you did it anyway and put additional pressure on them and took things away from them in the process. Yeah. You get that too. This is not about being a tradwife or not being a tradwife. This is about making a pivotal life-changing decision that you know your partner is opposed to and doing it anyway. And then saying you'll get over it. No. Vixen, yeah, I do. I forgot about the health thing. So the time that he would lose with the kids, like that's one of the most sacred things to me. You know, he probably at this point in life is defining success by being able to provide and spend some quality time with him. And that's been completely ripped away. That's going to cause some depressive effect. It's going to cause damage to his mental health here. And what does she gain from this? That's what I don't get. Freedom? If that's the case, like pitch doing some kind of freelance job or content creation or something that gives you that amount of freedom, not just putting it all on him. And if you know that notion makes him nervous or he's uncomfortable with it, you don't just do it. You have a conversation. You try to work through figuring out the balance to make sure that those fears or concerns are alleviated. You develop a solution that works for everybody instead of just saying, screw everyone else. I'm doing this. That is incredibly selfish. Here we go. Next story here is from the AITA subreddit and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Telling My Kids Why I Don't Buy Their Half-Sibling Anything? Ah, shit. The mother of my 2 children, 10 male and 9 female, cheated on me during our marriage and became pregnant with another man's child. I learned this when I caught her with the man in question, and after quizzing her, she admitted that there was a strong chance he was the father of the baby she was pregnant with. I ended our marriage right there and took a DNA test when her youngest was born, and she was not mine. So in the divorce, custody and support was only factored in for our 2 kids. I pay some child support because I made more than her, but we had 50-50 custody time with the kids and I remained an involved dad. My ex lived with her youngest's father October of last year when he took off without a word and dipped from their lives. She has been in pursuit of child support ever since, but he cannot be found and he quit the last known job he had, so she has been unsuccessful so far. This has led to her struggling, and I buy more for the kids we share so they don't suffer because of the failed relationship with the affair partner. Last month, my ex told me she was struggling to keep up with the expenses for her youngest, and she asked me if I would maybe buy some stuff that included her too. I said no, that I was responsible for my kids and I would not become financially responsible in any way for the child she made while cheating on me. She begged and told me that they will have different lives if I don't help, at least for now, and I told her that was not my problem, and maybe she'll think about that in the future before she starts an ongoing affair. She told our kids about asking me and encouraged them to ask me for them. Oh, you piece of shit. Use the kids as pawn again. Oh my gosh. It's like parental guilt. Yes, please. Why? Why do people have no self-respect or respect for others at all, or not even have respect for their kids and just use them as pawns? This pisses me off. The kids were confused because they have always known their half-sister is not my child, but they started to doubt because of how their mom talked, saying good men take care of all their children and loving a child who is part of your family should never be that hard. This bizzo. The kids approached me and asked me about it and told me their mom wanted them to ask me for stuff for their half-sister. So I explained to them that she is not my child or part of my family, but she is still part of theirs. They asked why, since the oldest has some memories of his mom and I being together while she was pregnant. I said their mom got pregnant with her half-sister while we were together, but DNA proved she was not mine and I did not raise her for that reason. I told them I am still their dad and nothing has changed, but I was never really their half-sister's dad, and I don't want to buy her stuff like I do for them. They understood, and when they went back to their mom, she called and cussed me out for telling the kids more details than she wanted them to know. Oh, you mean so the thing that you did came back and bit you in the ass and you're not happy about that? Sucks to suck. I said they had always been aware that they had a different dad to her other child, and that needed to remain clear because I was not claiming her now that her father has abandoned her. She called me a cruel dick. Am I the astronaut? No. No, I mean, you can't help but feel bad for the kid, right? And how old is this kid now? I don't know. How is there any indication about how old this kid is? There's not. No, it's, yeah, this is not, no, he has no financial obligation to this child. And it's not like he has a relationship with this kid. That's the kicker here. I feel like if he had some kind of relationship where he was involved with his child, then, I mean, if he loves the kid, then yeah, but they split and he never had a relationship with his child. The kid's dad just dipped, and that sucks. That sucks, and I feel really bad for the kid. But mom here just being like, oh, I'll just get baby daddy number one to pay for that one too. And I'll use the kids to guilt him into doing it. And if he doesn't do it, he's just going to be a real big evil piece of shit. Now, why is that his responsibility? It's not his responsibility at all. And then using the fact that it is a blended family to try to force him into essentially paying child support for a child who's not his, knowingly. That was conceived while cheating on him whilst married. Wow. Surely someone out there is going to pay for my baby. Her bio papa will not do it. So you must, because you're their father. How about, no, that's your responsibility now, Mom. That's it. Dad dipped. That sucks. And it's got, yeah, it sucks. It's not the father of your other two kids' fault in any way, shape, or form. This does not touch his life at all. At all. If anything, if you're struggling and need him to have them more to help ease the financial burden of them being with you, I feel like he would be receptive to that. And that's at least a path to a solution. You won't do that because of pride. Maybe not. No. Yeah, you won't do that because of pride, but pride wasn't an issue when you asked for him to pay for your other kid. That's, Opie wasn't husband material, but his money is. Ugh. My goodness, the audacity of an entitlement and just, I'm just floored. I can't believe, I mean, I believe it. I believe that these people exist. I'm just shocked. Still shocked. Like, how the hell do you not see the buffoonery of your actions here, lady? How do you not see how hypocritical this is? How do you not see, how do you not see that this isn't his responsibility? But she just will not accept responsibility on her own, which is how she got into this pickle in the first place. And then after all this, he's just a cruel dick for not assuming the responsibility of taking care of a child who he has no connection with. Hey, Kate Elderberry. Welcome. Yeah, we're wrapping up like the next to last story here. Even so, if it was like life necessities, if her situation has changed, I'm sure there are plenty of assistance programs that she can go talk to. The assistance program that she needs to talk to is not her ex. That's not the way. And if she believes strongly enough in it, freaking file for it in court and see what happens, lady. No judge is going to be like, yes, you should be paying this. And yeah, they're going to have different lives. They were going to have different lives no matter what. It's different for kids in blended families because their two homes are a different set of two homes than the other kids' two homes. You can't control that. And if you wanted to, you should have thought about it before cheating on him and getting preggers. This one is from the Think I Fudged Up subreddit and is titled, Think I Fudged Up by Being Awful at Flirting. I, 30 female, decided to go on a long hike in an area I'm slightly unfamiliar with. Along the hike, I kept leapfrogging a group of 3 with an adorable pup. I kept hearing the guy running point on the hike call the dog back as it wandered off trail. and the name sounded close to mine. By the third time I leapfrogged the group, I was able to discern that it was made up of a romantically linked couple and a single guy. I got a look at the guy and thought he was pretty cute. Now Reddit, I am notoriously an awful flirt. I get incredibly flustered and self-conscious when trying to do it, so I've been challenging myself to start to talk to people I find attractive. I paused and asked, "Hey, is your dog's name X? Mine is too." Confused, the guy turned around and looked at me like I had 3 heads. He then replied, telling me a name that sounded nowhere close to my name. Strike one. Since they seemed like they knew the area pretty well and had a map, I decided to try again and ask for directions to a small peak nearby that I wanted to summit. The guy nicely obliged, but I didn't get any hints of continued conversation. Not wanting to interfere with the group's time together, I carried on my way. Come to find out, it was the same hike the group was doing, so once again, we found ourselves stopped at the same location at the peak. There was a little shelter I was resting in, and they eventually came to pause there as well. So I tried to strike up a conversation again. This time, I focused on trying to pet the dog and asked polite questions like where they're from, etc. The dog kept wandering over to me, sniffing, I presume to see if I have food, and I say, "Sorry, bud, I don't have anything." Conversation is going well with the group and the guy of interest, but I'm still incredibly flustered. A few minutes after I made the comment to the dog, the guy gets out my favorite fruit snacks and offers me one. Now Reddit, this would have been a great time to say yes, thank you, and move to sit closer to the guy that I thought was cute. But my stupid brain instead thought, say something witty and funny. So instead of doing the logical thing, I say, "I was talking to your dog, not you," with a grin on my face. Mind you, this joke made sense to my flustered brain at the time, but objectively speaking, what? How is someone supposed to take that? Why is that what I defaulted to? Strike two. He seems a little off-put and pockets the gummies, while I, now realizing what a dummy I am, excuse myself to continue my hike, because frankly, there's no coming back from that. I thought to ask them to join their hike, but after that interaction, I thought better of it. As I'm heading down the trail from the peak, I hear him calling the dog again. I turn around and he's trotting after me. He runs up to me to get the dog with an apologetic smile, which would have been a great time to ask to join them, but I was still too embarrassed. We leapfrog some more while I stop to take photos of the landscape, and they do the same. And I finally get the gumption to ask the woman in the group if I can join. She agrees, and I start to believe I can redeem myself and finally get some conversation in with the guy. Her and I chat for a while as we hike down the mountain. She keeps referring to her brother and saying, "Oh, you should ask him about his travels here," and "Oh, my brother is totally like that too," and so and so. And it's getting to the point in conversation where it's relevant to naturally bring him into the conversation when I look down and realize that somewhere along the trail, I dropped my phone while being alone and far from home. I already felt like I intruded a little on their hike, and I didn't want to be a bother to them and ask for their help. So once again flustered, I mutter that I lost my phone, quickly apologize to the group, and sprint off up the hill. I eventually found it, but I never caught up with them again. Looking back, I could have asked for their help, asked for someone to call it, something that was engaging more of the group and the guy in question, but instead I literally just sprinted away without even letting them offer. Strike three, and I'm out! Reddit, if you ever are hard on yourself for your inability to flirt or pick someone up, take comfort that it can't get much worse than my failed attempts. That's like me trying to flirt with Randy Thunder. That's like me trying to flirt with Candy Thunder, and probably is like Candy Thunder trying to flirt with me. So us flirting back and forth is like a real fustercluck. At least you tried. It's yeah, that's. It's got to get better than that, though. Like the Overthinkers Club, this has found its newest member here, because that is one of those things that's just like Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with an update to the Am I the Astronaut for Disowning My Wife's Daughter After She Chose Her Mom's Affair Partner Over Me story. Let's go. First off, I just want to thank you guys for the support you guys have shown me. This past week has been the hardest period of my life. Seeing the love you shared with the woman you considered your partner for life just vanish hit me worse than anything else. To those who have privately messaged me, thank you and please be patient with me. I have over 100 unread messages to date and will need a bit of time to respond to all of them. I just want to update you on the things that have happened since I posted. First of all, I'm happy to report that I've quit the alcohol. It was tough, but seeing how my life was basically falling apart due to my constant drinking was really a wake-up call for me. As someone kindly suggested, I asked my mom to throw out all of the alcohol in her house. The first couple of days were tough with me being more depressed than ever, but I'm doing much better now. As for my wife, I've had a brief conversation with her and I have halted all divorce proceedings for the time being. There's still a lot to navigate and a ton of logistics involved, and my decision for divorce seemed a bit in the heat of the moment. I'm not saying that I'm going back to her. I'm just saying I need to reevaluate everything again. What she did was beyond hurtful and irresponsible. If I were to get back with her, she has to do a lot to make up for this mess. I have removed half of the money in our joint account and have stopped paying for the lease on my wife's car. I asked her the following questions. Has she been in contact with Daniel since our falling out? She said she has completely cut off contact with her ex-boss and is willing to do anything to make our marriage work. Why did she go to meet him in the first place? She said she honestly doesn't know. She met him at a get-together her old company held, and in her words, they just clicked. They started hanging out as friends, and soon things grew out of hand, and she started bringing him over to the house when I was at work. Did she have feelings for him while they worked together? She said she found him cute, but left it at that. They never did anything or said anything outside of work. I mean, until they did. Why did she bring Daniel around our daughter? Lisa once caught them making out on the couch, and when she threatened them to tell me, they quickly shut her up with gifts and a new phone, etc. Yup, knew that happened. And soon enough, Lisa started starting to like having Daniel around because of the gifts, etc. Bought her off. That was it. Did she badmouth me to Lisa? To this, she just went silent and started crying. I then pressed a bit more, and she finally blurted out that she started telling Lisa that Daniel was her bio dad. Wait, is he? Is he the bio dad? Oh, she said that just so she would be more accepting of him. Got it. Not gonna lie, after this, I myself started crying and just hung up. I did see a change in my daughter around the same time, but I just chalked it up to her being a teenager. But hearing this just broke my heart even more. I also want to thank you guys for telling me it wasn't right to put all of the blame on my 13-year-old daughter. I wasn't thinking straight at the time. And when I started sobering up, I did sort of realize the mistake I made. Well, yeah, because she was a teenager that was accepting bribes. What teenager is not going to be able to be bribed? I have unblocked my daughter and have been texting her since yesterday. She has apologized to me, and it seems like my wife, in desperation to get me back, has confessed the truth to my daughter. My daughter has told me that she stopped talking with her mother since she confessed. I apologized to her for the comments I made about disowning her, and we have planned to meet up tomorrow at the local park. I, again, just want to sincerely thank you guys for the support and the advice. Honestly, I couldn't have navigated this mess alone while being intoxicated. Only God knows what would have happened if I didn't reach out. I also want to apologize for the drunken rant I went on in the comments. I'm beyond embarrassed at the things I said. Again, thank you for all the support and wish you all a wonderful weekend. Edit. I forgot to mention the DNA test on my son. I do definitely acknowledge it being a possibility, but neither am I mentally in a place to be able to cope with the stress of something like that, nor am I ready to face the reality that I might look at him differently if the test turns out negative. I'll do it eventually, but not now during this mess. Top comment here, she said she has completely cut off contact with her ex-boss and is willing to do anything to make our marriage work. Right. How did she apparently have the strength to cut him off now, but not before the affair began? OP, look at the facts. In the first 3 months of dating, she never even mentioned having a daughter. She deliberately hid this from you. She let a child sit unattended and unsupervised in a full diaper for how long? So much worse could have happened to him, household cleaners, etc. She basically risked the kid's life to talk to the AP. She had zero hesitation to emotionally manipulate her daughter to keep her affair going. Her immediate reaction to being caught was to hit you. Two things here, obviously the hit itself, but she never felt guilty and confessed. You caught her. How long would she have kept cheating if you didn't catch her? From the very beginning of your relationship, she has lied to you. A lie of omission is still a lie, and she has lied to, neglected, and manipulated her own children. Do you see a consistent pattern of behavior that has lasted 12 years? She has shown you who she really is. Believe her. There is no coming back from this. For your own sake, divorce her. Don't take her back. And if that isn't enough for you, this simple fact that she manipulated your child, lied to her, allowed her AP to buy her off with gifts to get her to hide an affair from you, is definitely a deal breaker. I'm not saying you rush into anything, but as you review all of these things, yes, I'm so glad that you've unblocked your daughter and that you're starting to see a little bit of the light there. Yes, she was wrong. Of course she was wrong. She was bribed into it, though. She was manipulated into lying to you. She was manipulated into dinging her character to do this with bribes, which is utterly f***ed up. But not all of the blame is on her for this. This all stems from your soon-to-be ex-wife and Daniel, who just gives zero shits about destroying whatever is in the path of his penis, apparently. Gosh dang, man. I'm glad that you have started to slow down. Obviously, the drinking was a big problem, and it's one of the things we said the first time around. He's sitting there drinking and letting his mom take care of the baby. That's not going to work. That's not going to look good when you finally get to a custody hearing. Like, that's crap that can be used against you. It's also just not the right thing to do. So get your head out of your ass. Start to actually evaluate what's going on around you. And you've started to do that. So you've got some clarity now. You're understanding that your daughter isn't an evil person here. She was manipulated. I'm glad that that is on the path to reconciliation. But your soon-to-be ex-wife, there is no way in hell that you could trust her. None. Even if it was just what she did with the baby, neglecting your baby so she can talk to her affair partner, just that's enough. Just bribing your teenage daughter to be able to, just bribing the teenage daughter to hide the affair, that's enough. Like, all of these things individually are enough. Together, it's overwhelming. There's no way you could ever trust her again. No way. Hey, Dusty Thunder here, and I wanted to thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that content, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Also, you can find swag and so much more at dusty-thunder.com, and you'll find even more content on all of our platforms. We're on TikTok, YouTube. We now have an official Facebook page that we'll be posting stories to as well. We have podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and so much more. You can see all of our content platforms on Linktree, which is linked in my bio. Engage with us wherever you're enjoying content and do your best to avoid the Askonauts today. Thanks again.